popcorn. We are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Media popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. What is up, everybody? You guys know it's the new year. That means it's the new you. That means it's a new podcast. Being popcorn in your ear. When. I need to get one of those buzzers. I need to get one of those buzzers. Guys, you know who I am. This is Justin. This is Justin Brown. And on the podcast, we have
Tatiana.
That's right. Brandon's taking a little break. He needs to rest his nuts. Ain't that right, Tati?
Gosh. He's on a little hiatus. So I'm happy to be here. You'll see some more of me throughout the upcoming episodes for sure.
So here's the thing, Tati. What I would love to happen in this time that Brandon's taking a hiatus is to instill something in the show that is so weird, like really, really weird, that would bother Brandon specifically. Is there anything anything that like phobias that he has that we could somehow like is Brandon like afraid of feet or something like that? So like every episode we point out a character's feet and I bring up a picture of feet and but the audience has to be into it as well. But it has to be something so we can just troll Brandon. I mean, obviously it's not something that's going to happen today. I mean, it'd be great if we could figure it out today. But Tati, if something hits you and you're just like, yes, this is it, I think we need to make that happen.
Well, we'll definitely see how this goes because I know we're doing Zootopia right now, and I don't know how much of a animated animal city is going to freak him out. Although I will say, I can't give away all of Brandon's secrets. However, Brandon has this odd fear of getting bit in his neck by like a vampire.
What? Okay, that's weird.
So that is one of the oddest things. So in your relationship, you just know something about your partner and you just do the thing. So
and that's
occasionally,
why you're here, Tati.
Occasionally, and every now and then, I have to remind him I know that about him, and I'll just caress his neck as I'm walking by, and he's like, "Oh,
yeah, okay, all right." Well, guys, if you weren't paying attention, how dare you? Tati dropped it out there. We're doing Zootopia 2. Film that just came out just recently. We got our Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, which are back again. Was it who's the chick that plays Miss Hopps in
Jennifer
this again?
Goodwin, I think.
Yes. Yeah, Jennifer Goodwin, Jason Bateman. They're back. And we have some people who are returning and some new characters as well. Like Idris Elba's back, Shakira is back in here. So we got some good stuff. So I know you saw the first one, right?
I did. I saw the first one. I enjoyed it. I actually had no idea how much audiences enjoyed the first one. And so many of my friends, when we got to screen Zootopia 2, and I was like, yeah, I have to go screen Zootopia 2 today. They were like, I fucking love that movie. They were aggressively excited. And I was like, you are 40 years old. They were like, you don't understand. I love Zootopia. I was like, all right.
Well, and that's the thing, like this movie. Well, first of all, when I watched the first movie, I was immediately in. I love that. I love this movie as well. Well, the first one. So I was really jazzed for this one, but at the same time, I was a little bit, wary because I was just like, man, because a lot of times they put out, the sequel, and the sequel is just absolute trash. Yeah. So I was a little bit apprehensive going into this. But let's break down the wall here. I love this. I loved it. I love this film. I'm so glad that it didn't disappoint me. And it's funny because with all these animated films, I try to watch them with the kids now. And Jackson was fighting me hard. And he was just like, I don't want to watch Zootopia. I want to watch it. I was like, bro, chill out. Just watch it. He always says no, but then he absolutely loved this film. So I'm glad this a hit with kids as well.
It's interesting because obviously Brendan and I don't have our own kids and the kids that we do have in our lives, they're getting older. And so it's super interesting to we debated, do we take them to the screening? Do we not take them to the screening? We didn't take them to the screening. And then we got a at home screener and we let them watch it and they're 13 and 14. They were plugged to that TV like this was the best thing since your grandma watched The Price is Right. Like, they were just like and I was like, "Okay, I love the childlike wonder that, like, children still have," and so Zootopia oddly just, like, transcends generations, and there's so much for adults, which is why I think adults really enjoy it. Um,
Well, I think that, they did a great job with the world building,
yes.
for the first Zootopia, and then the cool thing about the second one, they just expand upon that, and they,
Mhm.
they're, so actually, I guess we get to explore more of those worlds a little bit deeper, in this one and kind of the lore behind it, which, is great. I just I'm happy when I get an animated sequel and it's actually living up. And this is almost a 9 year gap between the first and second one, and
Yes.
that's another reason why I was kind of like, I don't know how this thing is gonna go. But they came out swinging as far as I'm concerned. I think they did a good job.
Yeah, I would say that, if there's one thing I think that studios in Hollywood has been doing quite well, I would say the last decade has actually been animation and sort
Mm.
of like the stories that animators are getting. And because animation does take time, right? If we want quality animation, we got to give them the work. And it felt like watching this movie was very much like it felt like there was not a gap. I mean, yes, storyline wise, there is no gap between the first and second one. It's like
It's like a week. It's a
it's like
week.
a week after, it's super immediate, and it
Yeah.
feels that way. You don't feel like you waited a long time for this, even though we kind of did.
Yeah.
And so, and that's not easy. It's not easy to do, but I think the good thing with animation is the fact that, especially here where this is very much fantasy in a lot of ways, and so you can have a 9-year gap in the production and then a 1-week gap in the storyline, and it's alright. As opposed to something like Inside Out versus Inside Out 2, where you do have to acknowledge, like, the age gap of
Mhm.
the main character, and so they're done with that one felt like a disconnect. With this one, I did not feel that.
And now, obviously, when you have a 9 year gap between the actual films, there's going to be some people who are not available because they're no longer here. And one of them was Tiny Lister. He passed away. So they actually used some archived and unused audio from the first film to actually fill in for some of his roles and things like that. So, it's all right. Let's get into the plot of this. I feel like I can just talk about this all day, but before we get there, what the director Byron Howard called this, this is Disney's biggest animation film ever, because they had a scene featuring over 50,000 animals in one
Yep,
space.
yep.
That's nuts. But that also just brings in the scale of what they can do with this animation stuff now. But like I don't know. Sometimes I think about it, just like, man, I'm in the wrong business. I should have just been an animator or just I wish I could just do this stuff because, I feel like this is kind of like the future of film and everything of just entertainment because I don't
I
know.
I have such an affinity for, it's so odd. My siblings, my 2 sisters, they are so talented and I've encouraged them their whole lives. One went to art and design high school, the other went into Fiorello LaGuardia. So they are super talented. They're both really great in fine arts and other art spaces. And the 2 knuckleheads were like, it's the 21st century. No one's gonna be animating anything anymore.
Little did they
And
know.
and look at Spider-Verse, like Spider-Man, that whole Spider-Verse series. Look at Zootopia. Look at K-pop Demon Hunters. It's just like,
Yeah. The
we're out here
biggest
killing it.
properties on the face of the earth right now are all like animated things.
I was like,
Yeah,
y'all
we
could have
really
been on the
messed up.
ground level of all of those things. I mean, even just seeing like the manga and the anime from like overseas being coming super popular here now too. And I'm like,
Yep.
man, y'all missed that whole Demon Slayer, like, and that is their bag. Like that is what they're super talented in. So I
So
digress. So I agree with
speaking
you on
of,
animation. Yeah.
Speaking of, guys, if you haven't heard already, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, there's actually going to be a Dragon Ball Expo or like, thing that's going to be traveling around to major cities, in the US. They're hitting like New Jersey, they're going to be like San Francisco area. I think it's starting in like February. So it's like starting like so like it's pretty soon. So like just check out I mean you can find stuff about it online, but there's a few I think there's like 4 or 5 locations all across the United States. It's supposed to be just a big Dragon Ball thing, which also kind of leads me to believe that they're probably going to do some, a new season of Super. But that's after you don't want to know that kind of shit. All right,
Yeah.
so this story is like we said earlier. It's 1 week after they became official partners for the Zootopia PD,
Well, yeah,
and
so Judy becomes a cop, and then Nick is kinda like, "Meh, I guess I'll do it too." Like, so they still have the clashing personalities,
yeah,
um, as partners, and I think that's, like, really the driving force of the opening and why we get what we get in that amazing opening scene, by the way.
yeah, the ridiculous
The
Chade.
chase.
What am I saying? um, so the interesting thing about that though is the fact that it's just 1 week and they immediately are right into some shit. Like that's the crazy thing. Like they're immediately into some shit. But also, I guess because they had that big case which basically took down the mayor
Yeah.
and the mayor's assistant, well, basically kind of destructed the whole hierarchy within the government, Zootopia government. So everyone,
Mhm.
the expectation for them is huge now, and then all of a sudden they fall into a whole new thing that has nothing to do with anything, but it just so happens that this guy is smuggling in a reptiles, the snake, or what's his name, Gary D. Snake, which is
D Snake.
absolutely ridiculous. These names are hilarious. But, so Gary D. Snake is being smuggled in. And like, Judy just kind of sees, because there's a big accident and she just sees the snake's tail going out. She's just like, wait, what? So, so like they kind of just stumbled over this thing and
Mhm.
Judy just can't let it go, which is obviously the thing from the first movie that is her thing. She just can't let shit go, which is
Yeah.
obviously her greatest strength as well.
It's super interesting how, like with these 2 characters, I think obviously the more adult I become, um, the more I'm just like, man, so many people in my life are a bunch of Judys and so many are a bunch of Nicks. But agreed. So they're the chief, right? What's his name? Chief Bogo. He threatens
Yeah,
to separate them
Idris.
because they're so, I didn't realize how much within the police department of Zootopia they pair everyone together because that wasn't really the focus of the first one. But in the second one, you see like, oh, all of the cops, all of the police are paired based on their species. So you have
Yeah,
the wild hogs, the zebras, they're all together. So yeah, Nick and Judy are a little bit of outliers, but when they send them to like their partner therapy, and you see everybody in there just happens to also be different species partners, and you're like, "Oh, opposites attract in a Zootopia, but they
yeah.
clearly come with their own obstacles because they're all forced to do this training, this additional training."
Yeah, I think obviously like Nick is far more, I guess, closed in, emotionally and everything like that. And Judy's just like, hey, I'm like, you're my partner, like, they wants to get close, but Nick's keeping her at arm's length. I mean, we later find out it's because he's just like, I don't want something bad to happen to you because that's what he's afraid of now. Because now
Yeah.
he actually cares about somebody, which is, typical man shit. That typical man shit.
You
Like I
said
get it, I get
it.
it. Let me push you away because yeah, I'm starting to like you. but like, yeah, like their dynamic works, but also their dynamic is so much trouble because Judy is the person she's like, she's gonna go the extra mile, but then Nick can yes and the shit that she does and actually makes it work. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes,
he's so fucking slick. With them together they'll find a way, which is ridiculous. I mean
agreed.
that first thing with again bringing back the baby, bringing back the baby thing.
I'm I would have to say, like, I don't know if I've laughed. I mean, I obviously have laughed. Let me, like, get past this. I don't know if I've laughed as much in, like, an opening sort of, like, sequence for something
Mm,
as I have since, like, was it The Other Guys? Where, like, The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson are, like, you know, aim for the bushes and it's just like sidewalk. It
yeah,
almost gave a little bit of that sort of like a little slapstick, but the baby there, he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, sign the cast," like, and doing all of
yeah,
that stuff. Um,
and
but
that's
I
Tiny
agree.
Lister's character, the Fennec Fox.
Yes, yes. And so it is that, and then also, he's a fox, he's smooth, he really is like a smooth criminal, right? And so with having a type A character and then a type B personality in there, so you really see like the character growth, I think a lot more with Nick right away than you do with Judy,
Yeah,
especially when they're at the gala. So they're celebrating the Zootennial, right, of
yeah,
Zootopia, and the whole like descendants of the founders are throwing a gala because they were able to create this climate machine that was able to allow everybody to live in harmony, pretty much regardless of your climate. And I think that's where like Nick as his character really shines because he's like smooth and he's giving you a little bit of James Bond in that as well.
yeah.
And Judy is what causes the chaos in there.
Well, yeah, because who did she ran into? The Lynx. I forgot who played the Lynx. Um, yeah, she ran into the Lynx, who's a part of that the big crime. Well, basically, our big bads in this. And then basically, Paulbert. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yeah, Paulbert.
Because
Runs
there's
into.
I'm
Good.
I'm, like, thinking of Andy Samberg, so I'm like, I know it's not, like, his name in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, which, for some reason, just off the design of Paul Burt, I felt like, who's that dude that had the late show, the chubby British guy that nobody likes? That fucked up.
The one that does
James,
carpool
yeah,
karaoke,
James
James
Colbert,
Corden.
Corden. Like, the character, the actual cartoon character kind of resembled him in a bit. And I wondered, I mean, was he in the first one though?
I don't know, I gotta be honest, like, I'm not, like, a big James Corden fan, so I
Well,
try not to commit that
apparent
stuff to memory.
apparently he's horrible in
Yeah,
like
no, I've
person.
heard.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
think he was
So
also in Cats, if that's any, reference point.
maybe that's why I'm thinking it. But I know
You're
he's like,
mixing
he's
up
a
your animal movies.
he's also like a theater guy. He's a theater guy. He likes
Yeah,
singing and shit like that. So I was like, but like the character almost looked like him a little bit. You
okay.
know what I'm saying? Um, but like, yeah, that whole thing, the way that kicks off, and then they actually find the snake, but then the snake is
Mhm.
being, well, they find the snake, they're chasing it down, and basically they caught, Gary the snake. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But then it turns out that like, he kind of tells him the story, Judy's story, and well, quickly, and then she's just like, I don't think this guy's a bad guy. And then they're immediately framing him for trying to kill the police chief because upon all the craziness going on in the chase, the police chief gets hit with his tooth. So like he gets venom in him. So you have to get anti venom for the police chief.
Yeah. So
Which
it's Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I just the way that this film was done, I think the storytelling is actually even a little bit better than the first one, in this one.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that they did that was super smart is I mean, there were a lot of, connections to the real world in the first one, and here they just continued that. So there's so many like in the gala when things go awry and they find the snake and they have the tooth and all of a sudden, and like the journal and whatnot, and then you see people like taking out like their phones to film and you get like snippets of on the TV of like,
Yeah.
like the propaganda and stuff like that. And so you're like, oh man, even in Zootopia, these
Yeah, they're
things
all about the
still
bullshit
happen.
too.
And so I think that is, what really sort of I think gives a lot of I f of a broader view because we live this stuff every day, and
Yeah.
so I like, how do you talk about this with your friends or family? And Zootopia has, like, this really sort of, like, cheeky way of doing it because it's Zootopia, so you're like, "Oh, man, that's absurd," and then you're like, "Oh, shit, this is happening in real life. Oh my gosh."
Yeah. Well, well, I mean, and then just the fact it's like, all right, so then because they won't kill the snake, the Lynx guys, they basically they blame. They're like, oh, they were working with the snake, so now they're
Yeah.
fugitives.
Yeah, and
It's
so
like,
you
okay, I didn't know that we are gonna have a fugitive
Yeah, it's
situation.
it's like it does everything. It's like, the story of like the haves and the have-nots and like kinda like money makes the world go round and you find out, the Lynx family has been like, the it doesn't seem like they were always the big bad. They were just, like, always just trampling over the little guy, and then because they thought they were too big to fail, then they became the big bad over time, and
Yeah,
how, like, power and money and politics are all, like,
corrupts.
driving forces, and so they were easily like, even the mayor, I thought was, like, hilarious and how they were like, "We didn't put you in office for no reason," and the mayor's, like, offended because he thought he got there on his, like, actual, like, politics. Being
Well,
like like a famous actor.
well, and that's the thing I want to touch on. Is like, so so the mayor was a famous actor who was like an action star.
Yeah.
Is like, and everybody's like, well, you're not a, and they're kind of just like, well, he's not like a real action star. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not like that really that guy. It's like, he was just, you're just an actor. So like that scene where they start fighting, the Lynx, and then he actually, joins them. And so he's like
Mhm.
a part of like the resistance. A, a, a part of me is just like, is he supposed to be Schwarzenegger?
I mean, I'm gonna say maybe yes, what do I know? There's so many people who go into politics that have a background and many but he
Well,
was like he was giving very himbo vibes, very is like a mixture between like himbo and like Fabio with like the hair and
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
it was like this, this clash of worlds where he just was there to read off a teleprompter and do nothing more and just do the bidding of like all these other people, who had money and power.
So
Um
it was because I was just thinking like, from the film to like real life, because we got Schwarzenegger, we got Jesse the Body Ventura. Well, we also had Ronald Reagan. Technically, we also got Trump, but like, there are these people from entertainment which have bled over into politics and and actually held something. But I think like he's more close to like Jesse the Body Ventura or Schwarzenegger than anyone, because an action star who turned out to be like an actual like got put in as a politician. I think a lot of people, especially in California, looked at like Schwarzenegger was just like we
like
just like what is this? But apparently Schwarzenegger wasn't a governor. I don't
I
know.
mean, but he
Maybe
also had his connection to like the Kennedys, right? It wasn't that like the big thing for
yeah.
Schwarzenegger? And so when you think about like that whole sort of like legacy, you
Well,
know,
no, then it does make sense. So then now
yeah.
you have the Lynx who have, basically, I guess in a sense, organized crime, which also the Kennedys have links to organized crime and politics. It all comes together now. So
Yeah.
it's like, so the links like the Kennedys in this whole thing, which is, I mean, yeah, no, it's just super interesting, kind of trying to figure out like who these people could be, who are they parodying,
Yeah.
throughout the film.
It's super, and I think that I would hope, right, that the writers had a lot of fun with this and the animators had a lot of fun too because the cast in Zootopia 1 was pretty stacked, even like with
Yeah.
just like sort of like minor roles being voiced by pretty big stars, but the fact that like, they just wanted to do it. And like
Yeah.
the cheeky part, right? Like Michael J. Fox is an actual fox named Michael J. Like
Hmm.
little things like that you learn. I think when I was like reviewing the trivia, you learn like Ed Sheeran is an actual goat named Ed Sheeran. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like little things like that. I'm like, "Oh, this is where you get to have a lot of fun." So I would hope that like the writers as they were writing this and coming up with it and then the animators are like, "Oh, based on this character, we see these people. Let's like mash them together." And so like I said, I hope they had a lot of fun doing it because it was a lot of fun to watch. And also, like I said, so a lot of the writing and the animation pairing was just very tongue in cheek. Some things were just
Yeah.
very obvious, and others where you were like, "Oh, if you know, you know. If you
Yeah.
know, that's why this joke is funny."
So, I also, so in the first one, obviously we didn't have any reptiles. There were no like marine animals or anything like that. I think they did a really good job actually bringing them into this world.
Mhm.
Especially the fact that like they were kind of excluded from the first film.
Yeah, and so the lore in Zootopia, right, is that snakes can't be trusted. And
Yeah.
so because of that, they've been exiled. And so in this sort of like middle world of Zootopia into like the outskirts where Nick and Judy sort of find themselves in, you find a lot of reptiles, amphibians, like as you're getting more and more into that story. And when you get sort of into that, you're like, "Oh my gosh, so many other connections to so many things in real life." Um
Hmm.
and then also just like giving a lot of like outlaw kind of culture and then you're like, "Oh, these are odd but still good people." And they
Yeah.
just have a bad reputation and nobody can pinpoint why, they just do. And so one of I think my favorite sort of scenes in this movie is where oh my gosh, they're in the bar. They're in the bar with, like, the iguanas and stuff like that, and
Yeah. Yeah.
they, like, force them to eat the bugs, and they're like, "Ah, ha, 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 they actually did it," you know? And I laughed just, like, so like, I don't know why that was hilarious at the time, and I was just like, "Yeah, it's like every sort of, like, weird sort of Western outlaw kind of, like, you gotta do this like, wild, crooked thing, and then it's like, you
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
really have to do
Yeah. Like we can't trust you if you don't do
if you
this.
don't do this, and then they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you did it. Nobody ever does that." Like
So,
so,
UV in the chat asks, is like, what were y'all's favorite jokes in the movie? Personally, for me, is Gary D. Snake. I just love Gary D. Snake. Yeah, I thought that was just so stupid, but like it was funny, and like every time yeah, D. Snake, it was like it was. I thought that was just so dumb.
well, I think I just said it, which is like where they're in the bar and the iguanas are like he's like very low, very, and it's giving like old Western where you have to like take shots of tequila and stuff like that, and it's very
Well,
slow.
I think they were going for like almost like I think they were going for like Hispanic, like Mexican dude. You know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah.
It's like, yeah, I mean, don't want to be,
I
but like,
mean, I'm trying to be very, nothing about this movie is supposed to be like
yes,
tied to like
exactly.
one, but
But
it's so
like,
hard not to. So I'm like, I'm trying to be mindful of that. But yeah, like if you're watching this, you know damn well what they're trying to say or who they're
exactly.
alluding to. And it shouldn't be a surprise. But
But even with that and how they leaned into it and playing those jokes, I thought that it was really fun. And it really, because like even, wait, when the iguana, he's just like, "Hey, you guys be careful," and he just starts running across the water.
He's
And
like,
that was
yeah,
so,
across the water.
like that shit. A gecko. He was a gecko. He was a gecko.
Oh, is
But
he?
like,
Oh my
yeah, because the
gosh.
geckos do that shit. Like that shit was so fucking. Like, 'cause I wasn't expecting it. But like that shit was just so fucking funny. Like literally just laughing my ass off when that shit
Yeah.
happened. Like there's all of these little jokes in here that work so fucking well. So
Yeah.
well.
I think, like, the very first one, like, I mean, I thought that opening scene was hilarious, and then, like, little things here and there, because what is it? Roman Reigns and CM Punk, they play the Zebros.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I grew up watching wrestling, and so, like, you just know, like, wrestling acting, and so when I heard they were both gonna be in this, I was like, "Oh, that's super strange, like, I wonder what they'll play," and I was like, "Of course they're playing Zebros because it's, like, such a typical wrestling sort of, like, character for them, like, that's how
Hmm.
they were drawn in and written, and so when they just looked at each other, they're like, "Zebros." I was like, "What the hell is this?" But in a way that was just like, of course, this is what we're getting into. So, this is what I like to call shenanigans. Like, I
Hmm.
love shenanigans, and so I mean, I love shenanigans in real life. My friends know I'm with the shits and giggles, and, like, this is where, like, it really ticks in. So and the fact that they just kept doing it, like, the whole time is, like, very one note, right? Because sometimes with wrestling actors, you get, like, a very one note sort of approach, and only in modern
Yeah.
times are the wrestlers actually, like, pretty good at acting. But I that very first joke when they were like, "Zebros," and I was like, "I don't know why, this
What?
is so stupid, but it's so funny."
Well, I mean,
And
they're
I
using the
think
comedy rule of threes and things like
yeah.
that, so they keep on bringing it back. But I think that they did a good job, just like building these small little character, these little gags, and just
Killing it.
killing him every time
And
you
then I
saw him.
think the other one and then, talk about rules of threes, right? I'm gonna give you my threes, which is it's a carry on from the first one, and it's almost like if you know sort of like Shakira history or
Hmm.
lore, right? And so the fact that Shakira is playing this gazelle, type character is one thing, but apparently when, like Shakira was back in Colombia or something like that, her music teacher said that she sounded like a goat and, like, she was never gonna have a career singing. So, like, the
Oh, I didn't
fact
know that.
that yeah, yeah, so the fact that, like, Shakira is I mean, besides her being, like, internationally famous, right? So it's such a smart move to put her in Zootopia, so I don't know if that's intentional or not, but even just, like, the Shakira connection of the fact that, like, this teacher told her she sounded like an animal, and now she's in a movie singing as an animal, and then in the second one, she's leaned into it even harder. So if you saw
Yeah.
the music video for the, like, "Zoo ooh ooh," she's actually doing, like, the movements of it. So if that is not an earworm or your
Hmm.
kids weren't into it, thank God, because I think that that was one where I was like, "Oh, she's really leaning into this. They told me
Yeah.
I sounded like a goat, and now this song is giving you all type of goat."
So, so, for one, Gary the Snake, my favorite, his popularity in China apparently led to an increased interest in pit vipers as pets. So Gary the Snake is like huge in China.
Good for the Chinese. You will
Yeah.
never see me with a snake in my house, but good for them.
Yeah, if one of these boys try to bring home a snake, they about to bring home an ass whooping. That's the thing. And we gotta have snake for dinner because it ain't gonna happen. I don't fuck with snakes, or spiders, as we know on this podcast. Just don't fuck with snakes or spiders. Um, then also like this film did $100 million in a single day in China. So for one, the foreign market has been eating this fucking thing up, and it actually outgrossed the first Zootopia in 3 weeks. Like
I
that's
can see
that's
that.
fucking nuts. That's fucking nuts. I didn't like who I can't even I couldn't even think of I couldn't think that this movie would blow up like that quickly. Especially with the theater experience being what it is these days. But
Mhm.
like, to like I those are just crazy numbers in my opinion.
I mean, I agree. I also know that the Chinese market just loves I mean, if you pander to them, they will show, right? So,
Yeah.
you make the main character Chinese descendant, it's gonna kill, like, and then the main storyline of this, right, is that, like, the snakes had their own sort of space, and Gary D. Snake's grandma was, like, the
Mhm.
actual inventor of stuff, and so, essentially, right, if we're gonna try and connect these animals with what we think they're supposed to be in real life, because there's no, one certainty, but, you can read between the lines.
Yeah.
The snakes, in Zootopia are of Asian descent, dare I say?
And possibly, yeah, yeah, because, listen, there's obviously all sorts of, you know, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Connotations that people have about different races and creeds. And I think that one thing is, people say that Asian people, yeah, I specifically Chinese people, they're just shifty or you can't trust them and things like that. But I think that that's what they were going with this is like, but at the same time, obviously, these this ridiculous shit that they make up about different people, like, it comes from somewhere, and a lot of
Mhm.
time it's just propaganda that somebody just created. But it just shows how propaganda, spreads quickly and isn't necessarily true because, like, yeah, they're saying that you can't trust a snake, but it was actually a snake that created all of this thing which enriches your life. And they
Yeah.
were actually kind of set up by these links because they wanted to steal that idea for profit and then cut
Yeah.
them out and then basically made them the bad guy.
And
I
made
mean,
them the
that,
bad guy and exiled them, and so yeah, I agree, I totally agree. The one thing I found super, just this is just me, like, thinking, right? Because I mean, I don't claim to be a zoologist by any means, right? But, like, aren't lynx typically Canadian? So I was like, the fact that these shifty characters
I don't
happen
know.
to be Canadian, like
Wait, but no, aren't actually no, I was thinking of bobcat. Yeah, I don't know where lynx are. They're like their
let's see, we're gonna look it up.
habitat is.
Paul
So
Bert
while you
Linksley. Yeah, yeah. Paul Bert Linksley is an awkward Canadian lynx.
okay,
Yeah, yeah. So they're supposed to be Canadian lynx, and I found it to be kind of like so funny because I think the world, like like we said, we're not saying that these
you would
Zootopia,
trust them more.
yeah, like you would
Yeah,
trust them more because they're Canadian,
yeah.
right?
Well,
So
also it makes more sense that they live in the snow. That they live in that snow area. They live in the snowy area.
yeah.
And
So
then
I
also
just
they use a weather machine to basically, drive out all the snakes by turning their land into like
into like a
a snowy
snowy.
area.
Yeah. It was just
So
one of
all
those things where I was, like, connecting to, like, oh, if we're not giving them any sort of, like, earth world,
mhm.
nationalities, fine, but in the case where we are, I was like, the snakes are Asian and the lynxes are Canadian, and are they telling us we shouldn't trust the Canadians? Hmm.
Oh, they're up to something, Tati. So also, Gary the Snake's design comes from the Jungle Book, Robin
Oh,
Hood,
yeah.
and the Prince and the Frog. I saw the Jungle Book, that animation immediately, and I love how they kind of just use that same kind of thing because, like, yeah, he did look like I think it's Kai or Ka or whatever that the big
Mhm.
snake from the Jungle Book is
Yeah.
like, but, like, particularly the original cartoon. Like, it's like, once I saw him, it's like, it kinda looks like the snake from the Jungle Book. It's like, also just seeing it in the trivia, Lluvia, good grab there. But, like, yeah, it was just super cool to just see that, like, these little odes that they, threw throughout the film.
Yeah. Alright. I would say there is, like, there's a little Easter egg like, Zootopia 2 or something like that. I forget where I read it from, but essentially they allude to Zootopia 3 definitely happening, and it's something about birds. Um, So that will be oh, here it is. It's something along the lines of there's a post-credit scene hinting at a story focused on birds. So it says part 3 is for real and birds are too. So you know there's like this conspiracy theory, right? That birds aren't real. They're just
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
agents of the government.
Mhm.
So I was like, we're going there. Like we're going down the Reddit rabbit hole in Zootopia and birds are real.
That I mean, that would be special. That would be special. A second. So, obviously this film has done amazing. It's gross over $1 billion in just 17 days. It's the second fastest animated film to do so.
Mhm.
They've been just racking up all the money. As of what the sixth, this film has made 1.6 billion dollars and off an estimated budget of 100 to 250 million. So, like, yeah, it quadrupled. Well, actually more, like six times its budget, like right off the
Mhm.
bat, which is amazing. So this is definitely a hit. And I think just by everything that just by the film, like I think it deserves it. I think it
Mhm.
did. I did. I thought the story was great. I mean, I don't. This is one of those films again. Like, I don't want to reveal like all of the
Yeah.
the twists and turns of it. I just think that like this is just one of those films like, yeah, oh, you should watch this. I don't
Yeah.
know.
With kids, without kids, it's a fun movie. It is a fun movie and like we've seen it quite a few times since it's been released and we've seen it with like I said the 13 and 14-year-old, we've seen it with my mom. Um but I would say that for a sequel are we just going to jump into ratings? I feel like it's naturally
No,
getting
no,
there.
no, no, no,
Oh.
not just yet, not just yet.
But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised and there is something about even if like we've spoiled something because we all know Judy and Nick save the day.
Yeah,
Um but
but
it's
also like well, also, I think the weather, thing,
oh the
yeah, how
controlling of the
much
weather.
yeah, the controlling of the weather, like, that well, which is also another thing that's which is linked to this, to our world, um, but how that is, like, certain kinds of people can't like, the snakes, they can't handle the cold. So, like, Gary the snake, like, he almost dies, right?
Mhm.
But then, like, also, you know, like, I guess is how things come full circle. That tooth that gets knocked out, which almost kills the chief,
Yeah.
at the beginning of the film, that comes into play in the final act of this film, to where it yeah, good.
No, no, so much of that too. Like it actually, every little thing from the little carrot recorder to even just like Judy's in a predicament towards the end, Nick is in a predicament towards the end, and it gives you like these gasping moments where you're like, "Oh my god, are they really gonna kill these characters in front of these
Yeah, yeah.
kids?" Like, you're like, "Are we about to have a funeral at Zootopia?" Because that would be the one thing we just haven't really like touched on in Zootopia.
Yeah, how would they
Um,
handle that? Would
how would
they
they
just eat
handle
them?
it? And there was a point where I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I really grabbed my chest, like, are we gonna lose Judy? Like, are we gonna have to have like a police
Not
officer funeral?
not Judy's fine little bunny ass.
But I digress to say, none of what we just talked about happens, but it's still worth it. It's still worth it to see. Stay for that post credit scene for sure. I know it's so easy to leave because, movies are getting longer, credit scenes are getting longer and they want you to wait and all that stuff. But I would say that part 3 is for real and birds are too. Like that just like snatched me. I was like, "Oh, we are doing it." So if you're into shenanigans, I would say compared to the first one, I appreciate this one a lot more.
Mm,
But I think it was I'm always like, "Oh, there was 20 minutes extra that weren't needed." I don't would not say that about this movie. From beginning to end, there's nothing really that I would cut. And I think it's a great addition for a sequel, for sure. I think by all intents and purposes surpasses the first one.
So I mean I agree. I think that this is a better film than the first one. I think as a sequel, it really heightened everything from the first film and all. But I do feel at some points I felt like the relationship between Judy and Nick did get overshadowed by all of the things happening. There's a lot going on, and I felt like this movie did move really fast at points,
Mhm.
and like I felt things could get you could kind of get lost. I'm like, wait, what the fuck just happened right now? So like, I think you know, at some points maybe they could have slowed down a little bit, but at the same time, I thought it was an amazing film to watch. Now, as you guys know, if you know watch the show and you're on Patreon, you can leave your thoughts about this film on Patreon, and we'll read it here on the podcast. Unfortunately, no one on Patreon had anything to say about Zootopia 2 because they just don't understand how great this film is. But we do have a few letterbox reviews that Lluvia pulled up for us. Up first, who we got? Who this nigga here? James. James with an exclamation point. Teaching the children about propaganda, abuse of power, gentrification, and how minorities are used as scapegoats. Love it. Bring woke back. Squad check in. That's right, James. James knows what this shit is about. And like you said, like we were saying earlier, it's like there's no way you can talk about this film and not talk about that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's very right there. Up next, we have Jonathan Fuji, and he says the Godfather bit still kills me. Yeah, the little mice guys, the
Mhm.
Godfather, like that's just so. Yeah, it's
There is a letterbox review coming up that
mm.
I thoroughly enjoy for a couple of reasons because I too had this thought and I was like, "Oh my OMG, are they gonna go there?" And that's the
No.
next
Well,
one, but
read it. Go ahead,
it's
Tati.
by
You got it.
Rachel, was it Leishman? And it
Hmm.
says, "The fox and the bunny need to kiss already." And I was like, "Are we going to have interspecies conversations now?"
I mean, they around the same kind of size, so technically it would still fit. So, like, why not?
Ah, Justin, you went there. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Just saying, just saying. I mean, she can't be getting plowed out by one of these goddamn fucking wildebeests.
I don't even think that could work though, because as a fox, it's still
Exactly.
bigger than a rabbit.
I mean, no, but they're comparable sizes. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
See, he could take. I mean, but what would that come out? What would the child look like? That's the thing that we need to worry about. Okay. See now, Tati,
I
that was a
mean,
trap. It was a
but
trap.
that's what I was saying, the interspecies stuff, right? Because we know ligers exist. We know,
Yeah.
like, some of these crossbreeds, but they're
Wait.
still kind of sort of in the same family.
Yeah, but at the same
But,
time,
like, this is interspecies. So we already know the conversation
yeah,
is,
but are
do
those
do f
real though, or are those lab created? Or it's like, did we do that bullshit? I don't know if that's actually something that happened in nature as opposed to, you know, white folks being white folks. You know what
I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the lab cooking.
I'm saying? Okay, next one we have Miko. Miko says big release day for cinephiles, reptile fans, Disney adults, Wattpad writers, furries, and the 10 people I know who listen to Shakira. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a shot at Shakira. Technical foul. Technical foul, Miko.
A
Jeez.
zoo, ooh, ooh.
Damn. Well, I mean, listen, I would say yes. This is oh, I'm sorry. Did I say how many stars? I don't know why. I'm getting fucked up on this. Hold a second. Let me go back. Where is that guy? And 3.5 stars. Um Rachel gave it 5 stars. because I didn't say how many stars I gave it. Jonathan Fuji gave it 4 stars. It's on a 5-star rating. And James, he gave it 4.5 stars. So people are liking this, regardless. I think
Yeah.
across the board, it seems to be received pretty favorably. We still have we have 2 more. All right, here we have Sophie. Sophie says, cancel all the Disney live actions and just make more Zootopias. Yes. Yes. I'm with you, Sophie. And 4 stars from Sophie. And our last one comes from come on, bring it up, baby. Sometimes these iPads, when you just try to press the damn button, it don't press. They-
All
damn it.
good. So we
Uh,
have 3 stars from Saris saying wildly uncomfortable at the amount of Judy Hopps ass shots in this thing. And now that I
I
think
wasn't paying
about it,
attention to that. I wasn't paying
I mean,
attention to
I don't
that.
be looking at bunny butts like that, but now that I'm replaying it, it's giving Batman and Robin, you know, when you got crotch shots and you didn't realize you were getting them until after you were like, "Wait a minute, there was one too many crotch shots I wasn't expecting."
Hmm. That's
S
I'm
so
gonna
it
have to
makes me
go.
won
I'll have to go back. I have to go back.
so it
But
makes me
also,
wonder, are we gonna get a big booty Judy at some point?
hmm, are we? Are you good? Are you saying that maybe Judy gets a BBL in the next one?
I don't know.
You've
You
changed,
know,
Judy.
Judy you know, people, you know, at least, for me, growing up, I know
Mhm,
plenty of Judys, and then their nickname was Big Booty Judy.
mhm.
So, am I gonna say they had big booties? Yeah,
So this is what
kinda,
I
kinda.
think. Honestly, this is what I think. At some point, what we're gonna get, and I don't necessarily think is gonna be the next one. I think it'll probably be the one after that. Probably Zootopia 4. The
Oh, you think
bunnies
there's gonna
are
be a
gonna
4th?
end. Oh yeah, I think that I think they're gonna keep on going with this, but I think we're gonna hit a point where the bunnies are actually the people who are like seen as they're the big bads in this in some way, shape, or form.
Ah, so the bunnies are like the Kardashian family.
No, 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 no. I think it's gonna be like a thing where like it's about food or something like that, and the bunnies are poisoning
They
food for
procreate
profit
too
or
much?
no, no, no. No, no, I think it's gonna be like a thing. You know how we talk about the shit that's in our food these days, right?
Oh,
Like
maybe. Yeah,
the
I can see
yeah,
that.
I'm thinking that probably by 4, Judy's gonna have to. It's gonna come full circle where she's uh now getting all the negative stuff is coming about her, and it's not just about oh well bunnies can't be this. It's like no, bunnies are the enemy. So I think it's gonna have to. She's gonna have to deal with the fact it's like, hey, now where Nick is the one that's like, now you understand what it's like to be, on the other side of this thing and
Yeah, because
how she's
he
going to handle that.
interesting. Alright.
And I doubt that it's not going to be you know, actually it could be the next one. It could be the next one because there's a lot of sky animals which hunt bunnies, like eagles and shit like that, and
Yeah.
snatch up, owls. They snatch up like mice, rabbits, and all sorts of shit. So like they would be there actually, you know, on the food chain. Like they're
Mhm.
like, and somehow the bunnies are a part of like keeping these particular kind of predators out of here because like yeah.
Yeah. I hear that. I mean, and that's actually a really interesting take. I have not thought about Zootopia 4. But and I've actually not even thought about how they plan on introducing, birds are real because I was just like, "Oh my gosh, we're going down."
Yeah.
So, there's, like I said, the Reddit rabbit hole, but butch of birds and the whole bird conspiracy. So that'd be interesting to see. So I guess we gotta wait for this 3rd one to come out to see if you're right, Justin. And if you
Listen,
are,
I'm always right. I'm always right.
wait, but if you are, do you think it was already planned, or do you think they would have heard this episode and then wrote it in?
Well, I mean, of course they're trying to steal my thunder. And, they anyone who's anyone comes to the Medium Popcorn podcast and they say, "You know what? Justin, Brandon, Tati, they're bringing up ideas. Hey, grab me a pen." So, like, of course, it is possible, but I'm going to go out and say that they've already had this idea, and Judy's going to be on the other side in the next one, just because it's just natural storytelling to show that other side of it, for her to see it from the other perspective, finally. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just stealing ideas now. Who knows? Who knows?
But you heard it here first.
You heard it right here. You heard it right here. So, guys, you know how we do this. We rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL40 exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any hot, buttery, delicious popcorn, we throw it into the stale popcorn piles and piles of stale popcorn on top of it. So, Tati, we sat down and we watched Zootopia 2, Electric Boogaloo. What say you, Tati?
Zootopia 2 absolutely gets a large from me. I will say there are moments where, as an adult, I did feel it was giving me Fast and Furious, where there was too much happening. And I was a little like, whoa, if I was a kid, I don't know that I'd be paying attention right now.
Mm,
And so I always try to separate my adult self from my kid self of being like, both of these people are being satisfied, so it doesn't matter. But, we are critics. And so Zootopia 2 did have a little bit of room, I think, for like a self edit. Like there's that saying, I forget if it's like Coco Chanel or someone that's like, before you leave the house, take one accessory off, like take one
mhm.
thing off. And I think they lacked that. I think they needed to take one thing off before they
Drop the
left the
bamboo
house.
earrings. Got you.
or
Got you.
or the chunky bracelet or the big belt, whatever it was. But it definitely is deserving of a large, and I'm excited to see what the third Zootopia brings. What about you,
Okay.
Justin?
I think I'm gonna give this a large as well. And it's funny because it's the same thing. Like what I said earlier, is like I felt like everything moved really fast in this, and sometimes you just felt like what happened. Um, but that being said, I love this film. I very much enjoyed it. I'm really interested. I'm excited to see what they're going to come with next with the birds, the birds, the birds. Um, and I wonder if because have we gotten insects in this?
Insect? I mean, well, they alluded to the cricket, or what was it when they were in the bar? There was bugs there, so I'm assuming they know they gotta
Yeah.
eat
So so
them.
so like I just wonder if obviously birds are flying around, stuff like that. If insects make you know, uh, are insects in this world, or I don't know. I don't know. It's because maybe they're just too small, but yeah, I don't know. Just something that just jumped into my head. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next, and because I love me some Zootopia, I love me some Judy Hopps. Much like every warm-blooded man out there, give me more than ass shots of that bunny.
You want some big booty Judy shots? God.
hmm
Now I'm
let's
actually
shoot
gonna
her up.
rewatch it to see how many butt shots of the rabbit they had.
Listen, let's take Judy on a trip down to fucking Colombia or
Oh
DR,
my god.
get her
But I
bodies.
mean, I'm not gonna lie though, rabbits would be kinda, like, stacked if you thought about it. All they do is, like,
Oh, they got thighs. They
legs.
got thighs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
legs and thighs.
yeah,
This is like
yeah. They're good scariest, scariest.
oh my
Those little
god.
tails on them. Anyhow, so guys, that was our episode for Zootopia 2. This is our first episode without Brandon for like what the next month or whatever.
Just
I don't know.
about.
Yeah, however long Brandon's taking off, you guys know that you can follow the show at Medium P Popcorn. Mediumpopcorn.com, Medium P podcasts on the social medias and such. We also have tons and tons of things going on Patreon, patreon.com/medium popcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages. So if you're looking for more medium popcorn, you need extra butter in your life, go to Patreon, patreon.com/medium popcorn, and that's where it's at. Tati, can you show them a little love? Tell them about you. Plug your socials.
You can follow me at Boricua Collins on Instagram. We have a lot of fun things happening, especially in February and March, that are going to be movie related, and you'll be able to catch what those things are by following Boricua Collins as well as Media P Podcast.
And also, just because Brandon's not here, don't mean you don't have to just forget about him. Frodo
Fine.
Blackens as well.
Frodo Blackens. If you're
F-
not getting it from me, you're getting it from him. It's Frodo underscore Blackens.
You know where he's at.
On all the social medias except for X or Twitter. um
It's Twitter. We don't call it the X. And guys, you can follow me at J Brown Did on all social media platforms. Just know that at the end of this month, I'll be headed out to San Francisco. I'll be in the area for the Super Bowl, doing some work out there. So I'll catch your asses on the road. If you're in the San Fran area, let me know. Tell a brother where the fuck I should go eat.
Are you gonna be on the field with Bad Bunny? Con
No.
el conejo malo?
Listen, if I can finagle my way actually, into the game, I'm a huge football fan. Oh, I will. I will. And you will see me show out because my social media will be banging at that point. Like, I got the Super Bowl for free, niggas. That's how I do
Oh
it.
my gosh.
All right, guys.
Well,
We'll
in
catch you on the next
true,
one.
we
I'm
love
sorry, come
you.
on.
We hold
hmm
you.
hmm
Justin, baby.
Yeah.
Does it still give you ick if I do it, or will Paula get mad?
No, it's just Brandon. It's just Brandon. But
Well, we'll
Brandon's my
catch you
son
on the
now,
next
so it's
one.
okay.
No way.
We found out I'm his daddy.
Oh my gosh. I cannot. All right. Well, I will leave it there because I wasn't
Yeah,
around for
there you
that
go.
one. But maybe you'll tell me on the next one.
Maybe so. Maybe so. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. Peace.
Bye.